L- Let me take this opportunity to introduce Lama Ji. Lama Choyin Rangdrol is a Seattle-based African-American Buddhist teacher in the Nyingma tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. He has taught extensively in Asia and Europe. He travels a lot and mingles with marginalized people everywhere. Everybody here knows him as the Lamaji. So I'm going to refer to him as Lamaji. Lamaji has studied and worked with African American Buddhist communities in the USA and also with Ambedkarite Buddhist communities in India. He teaches by invitation in the Northwest and elsewhere. He wrote the book Black Buddha, Changing the Face of American Buddhism, featured as a classic in American Buddhism as per Buddha Dhamma magazine. In 2008, Lamaji also made a film named Festival Cancelled Due to Heavy Rain, which chronicled his pilgrimage to Cambodia's Angkor monuments, received the accolade award for filmmaking excellence from the Hawaii International Film Festival. Before entering the Dhamma stream, Lamaji worked as a licensed psychiatric technician for 30 years and drama therapist in the Department of Psychiatry, including UCLA Neuropsychiatric Hospital, USC University Hospital, and numerous acute psychiatric hospitals and outpatient clinics, serving several mentally ill, developmentally disabled, and homeless populations. Lamaji is an integral part of AIM community. Even in this lockdown period, he is in touch with us on a regular basis. Every time we talk to him, we always learn something new about Dhamma. With that, I invite Lamaji now. Thank you.
Thank you, Milind. Jai Namo Buddhaya, everyone. Before I get started, I would like to take a minute of silence for Dr. Ambedkar and all of the loved ones, colleagues, community members who are no longer with us. And I might say this in this minute, whether you're Buddhist or not, it's important in one's meditation to try to touch the stone of stillness within you. And for my students, I tell them, look, the stillness is not some stillness that you learned about in the dictionary or talked about with your friends. The stillness is the stillness of all things. And so, can you be still? Can you touch the stillness in you that is so still that you can feel your hair grow, the grass grow, your skin exfoliating, your heart beating? This kind of stillness. This is in the Vajrayana tradition. This is how we pay homage to life and beyond. The most sacred thing that we can do is to go into someone's home and contemplate emptiness at this level. So with that in mind, if we could just maybe take a moment of silence, a minute of silence, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, wonderful. And I would like to express my condolences to the family and the community. I've been watching some of the other presentations in this auspicious time of year and hearing the commentary of those who had contact and solidarity and a deep relationship with Dr. Ambedkar, and it is quite moving. I think the best thing that I can do is to move along with my comments and leave ever more room for those who knew her personally to inform us directly. But this morning, I would like to, just in terms of the situation that we're facing in terms of the global pandemic and all of its various manifestations of intrusion into our lives. And I was really stymied until actually last night. I was thinking, how can I move into this topic in a way that can be meaningful to everyone? How can I make a few comments and that have a lasting impression on the rest of this day? And I found it last night, and I think I'll just share it with you, and then I'll be on my way, which I'll be here for the entire presentations, but this will end what I have to say for today. And it came from looking back at Dr. Ambedkar's movement in 1916 when he enrolled in the bar course at Gray's Inn. In 1917, he returned to India because his scholarship had ended. And we know that on his return to India, his precious book collection was torpedoed and sunk by a German submarine. It's not an easy time. And yet he returned at his first opportunity and completed his master's degree in 1921. This is well known in the community. But let us also remember that, excuse me, he did these things in a period when the Spanish flu pandemic was at its height, like us, 1918 to 1920. As I estimated, 25 to 50 million people died. 17 to 18 million people estimated in India alone. He had to have been surrounded by it at some point and had to make decisions like we do about where he would place his energy. And in the throes of these difficulties, he saw the future. He invested in the future, and he knew how important his education would be in the long run. And despite the difficulties that he faced, he never took his eye off of being relevant in the future. And it is because of him and his committedness in the face of what we are facing today that we are able to share and bask in the light, in the sun, in the warmth of his concerns for us. So I think this is a very important inspirational thought to keep in mind as we face the challenges of loss, difficulty, challenges, fears, apprehensions, and that stillness that I just talked about. How do we, in these difficult times, instill that stillness into the children's hearts? Because there's no one coming. This is our watch, and this is part of our responsibility with all the many different responsibilities, this one too. And finally, I've done a 1-hour presentation on the caravan by Mangesh. It's available online, and it goes into detail in this idea about the future. But with regards to Diksha, we, because of Baba Sahib, have inherited the entire history of Buddhism in the world, not just our own. We represent something. And we have inherited the entire opus of Dr. Ambedkar's commentary, activity, scholarship, and contributions to humankind. Both he brought together in this moment in Diksha, so that we would not have any doubt about what the burden is for us as we move through this time period. And speaking about my close students, some of them I have a couple who have become lamas in their own right. I should tell them, as I share with you, from the point of view of Dr. Ambedkar, there is no partial surrender to this work. We have to be all in. There were 22 vows to come directly from his mind to us. And that discipline to not only follow in the path that he created for us, but to be wary of the difficulties influencing us in a way that we miss the point. And so we have this dual legacy that we are navigating in difficult times, which his contribution was born out of. And to the extent that we can invest ourselves wholly, fully, not partially, fully, and whatever that means to you, then I think that Baba Sahib's life will eternally have meaning, and all of those, including Dr. Ambed, will have made a contribution that can live on through us. So thank you very much. It's a pleasure to see all of my old friends, and Jai Bhim to all of my new friends. And let us have a wonderful day of remembrance and thought and visitation to our humanity through Dr. Ambedkar. And it is a pleasure and an honor to be with you today. Jai Bhim.
Jai Bhim, and thank you so much, Lama Ji, for reminding us that even back in the previous pandemic, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar went through this whole process and probably had similar or even worse conditions out there, but not missing the mission that's ahead of him, going full strength. Your statement, "we are all in," is what we have been all looking for this this movement to go forward. And I remember going through some of the uh, videos from Bharat Patankar and Professor Ambedkar. They were also emphasizing on the fact that we need actual movement to happen, and that's what we have to go to it. So again, thank you so much for joining and gracing us today. Hope to get more time with you in future.